No
So we just
fun. What's happening? You
what's
live.
happening?
What's
So what's
happening,
up?
fella?
What's up, beautiful people? Man, this is the Narrative Project Podcast. I'm your boy Mike. Got Jada Icon and Erden the Fourth. So look, I know we normally have topics and we will have that later on, but right now we just going into an interesting conversation and we just started to just go ahead on and just go. So Erwin was talking about his marriages. Now, for
Yeah.
those of y'all have heard these stories, I just told Erwin, I never knew there was two different people. I thought
Yes.
this was one person. I never
No.
knew that. I never knew that. That
Yeah.
I don't know. So
He
I never knew
froze.
that.
He got caught up in the matrix.
So
Yeah. Yeah, there were two. The first one wasn't as long as the second one. The first one was only a
okay,
couple of years, but the second one was almost 20 years.
okay,
That's why I say collectively it's been since 19 years old. The first one was maybe 19 to 25,
okay.
and the other one was maybe 26 to 40-ish, 41, something like that.
So talk about that. You was talking about how you said one said yes to everything, the other one said no to. And
Yes.
so was that the only reason why? Oh,
It it was a highly motivating reason.
okay.
Because it made me want to explore more things because I felt more free to explore more things. That safe space to be able to do stuff and not be judged, not always wondering if a headache's come in, things like that. Now, it's not like I didn't communicate this to my first wife before I ended up moving on, but it was one of those things where there was just something in, hey, you want to go out to such and such and it be a spontaneous last minute thing, and you got somebody who's down, and then there's another one that's like, oh, I don't know. And that was a big thing for me at that time.
Let me ask you a question. Were you a
Yeah.
different person?
Oh, absolutely. I would even say even now there were goods and bads of that. I would say even how I even saw myself as a father was different then, because at that point I only had girls, and I was still in my early 20s, so I didn't know much of anything about anything. The first marriage was a lot of elders, I would say coercing,
Hold
for
on.
lack of a better term.
Go ahead, keep talking. I need to close.
Yeah. I would say it was the elders that was basically, always asking, when you get married, when you get married, when you get married. And that's kind
Mm,
of
mm, mm.
what pushes you to do it. And this was, of course, when you're still in your 20s. We talked about this the other day, that 18, that 40, 18, 40, 60 rule,
Right.
where I was at that stage where I just wanted the approval of the people. So again, I got married. I was not prepared or ready to, and we came to a mutual decision that that was what it was, but it didn't work at that time. So then I moved to the second marriage, and then we talk about that where there's a lot of times where sometimes there's several different type of people in this world. There are those who, if they've done the work, they know who wants to love them, how they want to be loved, and things like that. But when you're young, you don't do that work. But and then there are some who live in the mindset of half a person is better than no person at all. Not shaming or condemning, not agreeing, not disagreeing. I'm just saying that that's the reality that some people are in, where there's a woman who'll say half a man's better than no man at all.
Mm.
There's men who'll say half a woman's better than no woman at all because they don't want to be lonely. And then there's the more say again.
Retarded.
Oh yeah, look, and then I'll double down on that. There are some who just believe. There are some women who just believe, so long as you not as bad as my dad. Just like
Mm.
there's some men who believe, so long as you're not as bad as my mom. You know, and then you got the opposite side of that who go and date the equivalency of their
Oh,
dad or their mom,
or they turned into their dad or their
or they turn into their dad or their mom.
mom.
You
Oh,
know, and the reality is we don't get a lot of relationship education at the stage where we probably need it the most. When you're in high school, they do not teach you any type of self-sufficiency skills at all. They teach you English, math, and all that. Yes, they teach you that type of stuff, but actual societal self-sufficiency is something that has always lacked in public education. I'll even say even in private education, just in education in general.
Them people say we don't want educated people. We want workers.
And I understand that, but that's our biggest problem. The problem is we don't learn relationship education until we've been burned by enough relationships that we're now looking to do something different, whether it be a book we read or a video that comes across our time stream or something like that.
Okay, Jay, I got a question for you.
Okay.
I asked it to Erwin. Erwin, you can chime in as well. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I've heard this a lot. I've heard a lot of guys say, well, women don't know how to necessarily treat a man because they didn't see what a man looks like in the home, right?
Okay.
And what I hold on before you go, let me finish. Hold on. Before you go. So what I was telling Erwin was some of that is BS, and you want to tell you why. I was telling him, like, as far as like being on here a few years ago, when we started talking about love language, honestly, I didn't even know love language was necessarily a thing until I heard it on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was telling him, like, when I first heard it, I rejected it. I was like, nah, that's just something they adding something on, some more shit we got to do. I'm not worried about that, right? So, but after a while, I'm like, you know what, man? If that could help me in my situation or help me be better within my relationship, I'll say, you know what? Let me apply it. So I began to apply it and understand how I could use it or use what I liked and then didn't use what I didn't like. But it just gave me a better understanding. So I took that and applied it. So through all these conversations we've had on our podcast, through various podcasts, I think we've heard pretty much everything for those said women who didn't see what a father looked like to be able to learn. It's about applying it. Do they even want to? Is the question. And I think a lot of women don't.
Sir, you say those women didn't see what it was like.
No, I didn't say that. I just said what I heard.
What say that one more time.
They said a lot of those women they didn't see what a father looked like in the home.
They didn't see what a father looked like in the home. Let me tell you
I would
something.
say like a positive version.
Yeah.
See how we're looking at that all wrong already? Already. All accountability went on a man. Let me show you something. Mm-hmm. It ain't that they didn't see what a father looked like in the home. It's the fact that whether a father's there, the only thing they can tell you is what that man did for their mother. They can't tell you shit about what their mama did for that man.
Good point.
See, and I almost thought I knew where he was going.
You almost
thought I knew where he was going.
You know what? No, that's a fact.
And that's the point. That's the problem. That's where they only know one side of the spectrum. Man, dude. Till that.
I thought you were going to try to tap in some extreme ownership where, okay, you didn't have one in the home, so you had the responsibility to go find one as an example, like that kind of thing.
No, it's just whether a man is there or not, you only can tell me what the man did for your mom or what the man did for this woman or what the man did for that woman. You cannot tell me nothing your mother did for that man to do what he was doing.
So let me ask you this. Do we blame some of that on the father?
No, we blame all of that on the mother. As the mother,
hear me out.
The reason why I am like I am with your daddy is because I have to do these things in order to get him to do these things.
Okay, hear me out though. As fathers, a lot of times, we only teach our daughters what not to take from a man. We never teach them necessarily what they have to do or how they can apply certain things to help them. We only do that once they already in a relationship. That was never our goal. Because you don't
I don't fly that flight. That ain't the flight I'm on.
Growing up from like
I tell them girls all the time because it's fun.
No, at what point did you tell them?
What you mean? I've been telling them since they was fucking in elementary, middle school and shit.
Okay. Thank you, like, Superman.
what a person could do for you is what you
we always talk about, again, we talk about the majority. You would be the anomaly, sir. We're talking about how saying a lot of fathers don't share your same sentiment. They don't.
No, because all they think about is that's my baby girl.
So that's my point. Which goes back to my point. Does that mean that we have to do a better job at preparing our daughters on what to see, what they need to do?
Because you can't put everything on us.
We're not talking about everything. We're just talking about a portion.
That's just another thing that you added to my plate. No, that's for her mama to do. Let that woman do something.
I get it, but I personally think we should be able to have those conversations, because that's not even a norm for men to do with their daughters. Nowhere near that's not the norm to have those conversations. It's always taught of, well, make sure he does this. Make sure he doesn't treat you this way. Make sure he says this. Make sure he opens the door. Make sure. So while we're having that conversation, that's what I'm saying.
As a man, no, you don't switch that up, because you're giving her game. So you have to tell her certain things, this, that, and the third. But the part about how a woman is supposed to treat a man, you can't tell her that. Her mama supposed to tell her that. Women supposed to tell her that, and the women are telling them to get you before you get them. That's what they're being taught.
Okay, so wouldn't it be smart for you to offset that with some other information?
It would not be smart for me to do shit, because I don't have no more room on my plate to do nothing else.
Sounds good. That doesn't change the fact that it needs to be done.
It needs to be done. So make the motherfucker who's supposed to do it. Just like how they come at us.
Now,
listen, do what we're supposed to do, right?
Hear me out. No, I get you.
Why we can't make them do this?
I get you. I get you. And I'm not here to tell you that you're wrong. But see that word, what supposed to do? What somebody's supposed to do? That shit don't fly. It ain't about, none of this stuff is about what one person necessarily supposed to do. Yes, we have roles. Don't get me wrong. But our goal is to have a very good union at the end of all this shit. Compromising, coming together. And if there's times where you can intertwine over here, that's what you quote unquote supposed to do, and I can help, fine. And vice versa. The problem is we keep trying to always tell each other what the other's supposed to be doing. We need to change these narratives, bro. Because if we're saying, yo, the way it's set up now, ain't that many, one person gonna be able to take care of all this shit. So if that person started telling you what you're supposed to be doing, then at some point some shit got to change. That's all I'm saying.
Quick question, Earl.
Yeah.
You're on the job, right? You got your
responsibility. You can rationalize that. This is where we go wrong. This is where we go wrong.
Is you gonna keep on taking on what that motherfucker supposed to be doing?
Okay, wait, give me the scenario again.
You at work.
Okay.
You got the team. You and this other person. It's your job to come together and do X, Y, and Z to make this project come together.
Yes.
You supposed to do what you supposed to do. They supposed to do what they supposed to do. They not doing what they supposed to do. They doing whatever. You gonna put all of their shit on your plate too?
No, I'm
or you gonna get on their ass?
No, I'm gonna first do my part first, make sure my porch is clean, and then I'm gonna address them at that point.
I never said don't address them. I never said that one time.
When I address them, though, I'm going to assume positive intent. And sometimes that helps in addressing them. Like, hey, I see you falling behind. Is there anything I can do to help you? Versus something along the lines of, hey, man, you going to keep up? Those are going to be two different conversations, and they'll be treated differently. So in relationships, it has to be the same way, too.
Because here's the thing. This is what we've learned in team settings, right? If the team keep failing, the whole thing can eventually fail. Now, you can say, well, we'll get more people. Eventually, it's going to start to look like you. If we
If it's
got
a
all,
systemic problem, there's no matter how many times you change the team, if the system is broken, it's going to come back to be broken. It's not a matter of if, but when. Every time it's going to fail.
what's up, Rick? This nigga got
Breezy.
65 hot dogs for himself. That is insane. That's crazy.
65, Brody.
That nigga got 65 hot dogs for his damn self. But anyway, continue. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say again, that goes back to you have to do your part. In even this, you have to communicate your expectation. Yes, I get it. I get where Jay is coming from, that until you're taught that someone should be mentoring you. But once you're on your own, the onus is on you, the individual, to communicate your expectation,
Right. So
to
what I'm
communicate
saying
how
is
you want to be loved on.
we can communicate that all day. This is what we've learned also, right?
Hmm.
We always talk about communicating to partners and people in relationships. Some of these people don't even know where to start, even when you communicate with them.
I do not disagree with that statement at all. There are a lot of people in this world who don't fully know how to communicate because they never had examples of good communication, or they've normalized bad communication.
Right. So all I'm saying is, if we're talking about on the Narrative Project podcast, and we're talking about changing the narrative, fathers don't even think about necessarily always telling their girls. It's not the norm for things. Just advice, not even necessarily what you need to do. Hey, baby girl, if you want to be able to have this type of relationship with your husband, or even if in the long term relationship, maybe you want to apply these things.
I would say sometimes that's because they don't even know yet, because they don't have enough wisdom. And I'm speaking from personal experience. There was not a lick of advice. Now that I'm my age, there was not a lick of advice my 20-year-old self should be
But you,
standing on.
but
But
you
I was
also
standing on it then.
but you also know as a man how you want to be treated in relationships. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, you take those things that you want to apply to you in a relationship, and say, hey, baby girl, maybe you want to apply this. And I've been in a relationship where it's I wanted this done for me, or I wanted this type of communication, I wanted this type of give and take, and I didn't get it. And I was hoping, I tried to tell my significant other at the time that it didn't that they need, could they do this or apply that, and it just didn't work. They didn't do it. So I'm telling you now, if you want to have a healthier relationship, maybe you ought to do this, opposed to, huh?
No, I 100% agree with you on
So,
all of that. The problem is
mhm.
you're talking from wisdom now. At that time, we're using intelligence more than wisdom, and we
Well,
don't have those answers. Because I would
so
definitely tell you, all of what you're saying talks from a wise man.
so
Can you say you were saying that 20 years ago?
But what I'm saying, what I mean about changing the narrative, I just mean now. Like, what I mean, it don't have an age limit at this point. I mean, just at this point, right? Now that we're having this conversation, can we begin to change the narrative with men as of right now, today, 2024? Let's start having effective communication about talking to our daughters on things that they can do to better their relationship, opposed to when your daughter comes to you and everything's broken, she's crying, and now you're in comforting dad mode.
Hmm.
So you don't always help her by just, coming to the, what did he do, baby? What did he say to you? And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, by the time she's emotional, she not necessarily hear that anyway. Bree, what we're talking about is, we're just kind of having a free fall. We're just kind of just talking about the state of relationships. And at the moment, we're talking about changing the narrative as far as maybe fathers communicating to their daughters once they're a certain age on things they can do in a relationship to be better, because that's not the norm. A lot of times we teach our daughters to just protect themselves. Look out for this. Don't let him do that. Make sure he does this. And then when we don't know what our daughters are doing in those relationships to help their relationship, because no matter what, even if we don't want to think about it, those men, if there are good people, I'm not going to say good men, if they're good people, they're going to need things for themselves to help that relationship work. So we just kind of having that conversation, just having, I don't know, just trying to see where we at now and try the different things we could change, opposed to just watching a scenario and then talking about it, and then we just kind of go in one direction. So we just kind of like, we're just having a communication really about relationships and things that we can do to be better. Technically.
What is the woman doing while all this going on? Just a thought, just a question, just a FYI.
What you mean? What
It
she
should be
doing?
both. Both should be
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah. It should be both.
The
It should be both for
communication
having that
again, it has to
communication.
where you have to have a listener and a speaker in order for this to actually be communication.
I'm just trying. If I'm talking to my daughter about both sides of the coin, what's the mama doing?
Okay, so now, because we do when we talk as parents, we talk about our children, right? We're communicating, especially when those things happen. When we're having those conversations, at this point, mention and you and mom, you and the wife, you and the girlfriend have a conversation about, hey, let's talk to her about things that she can communicate. That she can learn to help her better her relationship, because that's what we want at the end of the day.
How y'all gonna do that when y'all shit all upside down and topsy turvy?
You just one negative something a bitch, ain't you?
But he makes a valid. But I get what he's saying. He makes a valid point because I'll tell you, during that initial phase, you're still trying to figure out adulting your damn self.
No, I get it. I didn't say we had all the answers, but if there's things that we've learned, we need to start communicating those things as well. We're never going to have all the answers. It's never going to be 100%. But if we're always dealing in what's wrong, because even if watch this, maybe we are tainted, maybe we are messed up, but maybe we can help our child have a better outcome from what we learned. That's
my thing is just, what's the number one thing that always come across? Man, I ain't listening to you. You telling me what to do about a relationship? Your shit all upside down.
Okay, so
like Irvin said, you gotta clean your backyard, your porch before you can even attempt to try to do that.
I got a kid right now, won't listen to a lick of advice I gotta give him.
Listen,
I'm not going against what you're wanting to do, except for the fact that it's taking something else off the woman's plate. But then you say, nah, both of us need to be doing it. Well, in order for us to both do it, we gotta get to a fucking
again,
point.
maybe that helps us, because sometimes that's the think about this, right? You and your old lady could be arguing up a storm. Ain't nothing more weird than watching another couple argue. They could be arguing about the same exact shit, but when they do, you're like, man, what the hell wrong with them?
Yeah,
they tripping.
Stupid you fucking look.
All right then. So with that being said, if you're looking through it from another person's lens and we giving that advice, maybe we ought to apply it, because we just talked about this as well.
Man, look at you thinking like a man. All the problem with that shit is, it don't matter how stupid that shit look on the outside looking in, like, damn, guess what that motherfucker gonna do? Go right back to doing that same shit.
Okay, negative man. Let's talk about
negative man is truth man.
It could be true. Okay, so watch this. If we're always going to deal in that all the time, where we coming across that way, then what's the point?
No, the point is this: we have to find something that's actually going to fucking work. That's what the point is.
So if you don't know what that is, and communication, because now we're talking about sowing seeds. Ain't that what that is, Erwin? You're sowing. If you're telling your kid about different things, even if they don't apply it right then and there, because this is what I feel. A lot of times as parents, we want to teach our kids stuff, and we want to get it. We want them to get it right then and there. I don't think it's never for the moment. I always think it's for later on. Honestly, I do. No matter how frustrated we get in the moment, because I have the same. I have older ones that don't listen, but you do get to sit back sometimes and say, you know what? They heard me. They may not apply everything, but you got to try to change this up somehow, especially when they can. That way, especially your daughter in particular, don't know. Well, she can't live and die on what she don't know, or only feeling like it's only about her. My son come to me all the time, and I give him both sides of the spectrum. I don't just give him one side of it, ever. No matter what. I always give him both sides of the spectrum. No matter how I feel about things that are done, I give him both sides. And I remind him in the moment. If he's too far on one side, I'll pull him back. If he goes too far the other way, I'll pull him back. We're trying to give balance. And whether he applies it or not at the time, I don't think so. But I do see certain things where all right, I get it. I understand.
See, that's the balance. The balance is me doing what I gotta do and you doing what you gotta do. That's the balance. It's not me taking on some shit yet again that you're not doing.
So wait,
Yeah.
you just said I've been telling them girls this since forever. So you did the work. All I'm saying is doing the same, making what you did more of the norm because the dads are not doing it.
It ain't. Sorry, I can't divulge to the fucking detail, but because it's not two people doing it.
No, I get. Listen. I get it. I'm not saying it flies. I'm saying to have the conversation, just like this, right? What the man's supposed to do is universally known and heard by everybody. It's understood by everyone, and we also for our boys. How you going to get the girl? What you're supposed to do when you get the girl? What you gonna give her? We teach them that from fucking jits. Am I lying? Am I lying about that?
See what you're saying?
So my point.
I would definitely tell you that I know people who do teach that. Yeah, but again, we're not talking about absolute.
As you as a man teaching your son how to be a man.
Right. So my
woman should be teaching the girl how to be a woman. Because
I don't listen. I don't disagree with you at all. What I'm saying is just still have the conversation. That's just like the dishes in the sink. Yeah, somebody's supposed to be doing them, and you can fuss and yell till you're blue in the face. If you keep seeing them, eventually you're gonna get up and you're gonna do something. Even if you just get in there and wash your shit. That's all I'm saying. That's all. I'm not saying that we're gonna take this on 100%. I'm just saying have the conversation. That's all
But let's take your have the conversation using the dishes analogy.
You wash the dishes. It keep happening, and you keep washing the dishes. So what's the point?
Well then you wash your hands of it. I'm saying it's better to at least do it than not have it at all because it's not even talked about. That's all I'm saying.
But there is the biggest problem right there.
Mm-hmm.
We get frustrated about the dishes, but have we communicated expectations to the other person? Hey, I expected you to do. Hey, yesterday when you didn't do the dishes and I expected them to be done, I felt this kind of way.
Okay. So, Irwin, you always talk about effective communication, which is true. Mm-hmm. But you also, when you keep saying it, it's like you're operating as if that person does not effectively communicate. Because
there's a strong chance in most relationships, rarely, especially nowadays, rarely will you find two parties that are skilled in communication.
Never said skill, but what I'm saying is when you said effective communication, speaking that way because now you're not talking about two people. Let's say if I'm the only person that has the problem with the dishes, right? You're talking about me. How did I effectively communicate that to the other parties involved, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that at that point it's not about two people. It's about did I the one person effectively communicate my expectations to everyone else?
Okay. Yes.
Because then after the point, I have the right to be upset at that point because I effectively communicated. I didn't just get mad. Let's say this. Let's say out of 7 days out of the week, right? Let's say I did it wrong 2 nights, and I came in there and I blew that thing on up and went off on everybody 2 nights. The other 5, I effectively communicated. I said, watch this. On Sunday and Monday, I said, I tore everybody up. On a good Jesus Sunday, I tore everybody up on Sunday and Monday. Right after the red beans, because y'all know we from New Orleans, we eat red beans on Monday.
Yeah.
So I tore everybody up on Sunday and Monday. From Tuesday to Saturday, I effectively communicated, right? I did that. I effectively communicated. I did my part.
Mm-hmm.
By Monday again, because I'm going to give you 1 day to see. Matter of fact, I give you 2 days. I give you Sunday, Monday again to try to get it right. Tuesday, I'm back on your ass. That's just the way it's going to go until I get tired. But I understand what you mean. I'm saying, like, once we get past the effective communication part, because at some point we learn, we're like, man, it's not working. Let me do something different.
You keep saying that like that's more common that people learn that, but it's not.
No, I'm not talking about people. You said in the scenario, did I do that? So now I'm more applying that to myself. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
I'm going to say this. If you effectively communicated something, it would have effectively been done.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
It's very true. Because that's otherwise it would be called effective communication.
From my point of view, so watch this. If Erwin give me talking points on how to effectively communicate, that doesn't hinge on the person doing it. It's me. It's what I learned. It doesn't.
Is that true, Erwin?
It doesn't.
If I didn't communicate it the effective way, then you didn't
If I didn't teach it correctly, then you couldn't apply it correctly.
No. See, y'all thinking like me. Y'all thinking like logic.
No.
No. I'm about to tell you why. Because I also believe in this. You also got to know how to deal with the people who you're dealing with. My effective communication hinged on me. A lot of stuff that we dealing with, we be like, well, they thought they did what X, Y, and Z. They did their part. That's all I can do. That's all I can do is get the information.
You know,
a lot of times we assume that the way we want to be communicated to is effective.
Man, that's too many outs, dog. That's too many outs. That's too many outs.
Because see them 4 days or 3 days or whatever that you felt you effectively communicated, shit didn't happen. But to see them 2 days when you went off and then shit happened, you effectively communicated. Because you got
now watch it. Now see, Eric, here go the bullshit. He took your whole scenario and flipped that shit. I knew he was going to do that. Listen, if the sunflower is telling you to effective communicate, he means to effective communicate like a damn gentleman with a suit and tie on. What you talking about is some Negro shit. Am I lying, Erwin?
I just say use your words.
Nah, you giving that nigga out. Don't please.
It's not about giving it out. At the end of the day, I can only do my part in making sure I communicate my expectation.
Okay, so watch this. Now listen, I'm hearing that. I'm agreeing with you 1,000%. But then you turn around and you say, well, a lot of times we think the way we communicate is effective.
I agree.
You can only do what you can do.
But part of the effective communication is also listening for it to make sure that it was received correctly. That's still not just once I say it, but then also making sure that it was conveyed correctly is still my part.
That's all assumptions. That's all assumptions in what you do.
Because that's management 101.
But you're assuming that I didn't do it. What I said was
I didn't assume. That's exactly why I'm communicating to confirm.
Okay, so what I'm confirming is because this is the way I follow. Watch this. If I'm coming to you for the advice, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm coming to you and I'm saying, because this is what Erwin's always talking about. He's always talking about effective communication. Mm-hmm. And I say, Erwin, how would you go about doing X, Y, and Z? And you tell me. I'm going to take that and I'm going to apply that. Now, here comes the ifs, the maybes, the buts, and I kind of see what you're saying. It's also where that person's listening skills are and their ability to want to compromise with what you're saying, no matter how you say it.
There's several other variables in it. You could come at me and be like, Erwin, I'm telling you, I effectively communicated. I said those exact words, but you forget to tell me that you did it at 3 a.m. after she came home from working a double. Like, there's also the timing in when you communicate. Like, there's a lot of more factors in it. So you got to tell me, like, hey, I communicated. Tell me all the scenarios in it.
First and foremost, wait. Let me say this. Let me say this real quick. First and foremost, with me, if we're talking about me, Michael, I'm from New Orleans. I got to tell the story from top to bottom, whether it's gonna make me look good or bad. That's the way I tell it. If I'm telling the story, I'm telling it that way.
But what if my personality here's a good example. Let's say you have to tell the story from top to bottom. Mm-hmm. But I got ADD and I didn't forgot 15 minutes of what the hell you didn't say it.
But I'm talking to you though. I get what
I'm talking about me. This is what I actually had to go through many times.
So watch this. So wait.
Two things happen in that scenario. Two things happen. The first thing, Erwin effectively communicated. How do I know this? Because you took what he said and you went and applied it, right? The second thing, you took what he said and then you went and you did it. You went and said it.
So how do you know I did it wrong? If I took what that makes no sense to me.
It makes sense because
it don't make sense to me.
He said it, you done it. You said it. They didn't do it.
What? No, but I'm gonna tell you the difference. Now it's where my comprehension level at. Look, wait, listen.
That's not the difference.
Wait, okay, so that means this. This is what this means. This is what I'm hearing. That means nothing is going to work.
No,
because I'm about to tell you why.
This was the difference.
I'm about to tell you why. I'm about to tell you.
No, I'm about to tell you why.
That goes from person to person because this is what I'm hearing. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this. That means, you know what we're doing right now? We're playing a subjective game like we're playing it, and we're playing it at a high level. We're playing the subjective game at a very high level.
The reason why Irwin's communication was effective is because you wanted to receive it.
That's why it's subjective. You just made my point.
That's not about being subjective. You wanted to receive that information.
Okay, so that means anybody at any point in time that anybody can do that. That's why we will never get this right. Anybody can do that.
Even in the corporate world. A manager can come and tell the employee X, Y, and Z about doing whatever needs to be done in that job is because I'm here to work. I'm here to receive whatever the fuck I need to be doing today.
So watch this. If we're talking about a group of people that don't want to hold themselves accountable, it will never be right because they would never want to hear what you're saying unless it applies to them.
That's not what I said.
So this is what we go. But that's why I say it's subjective. I just said that. It is. It's very subjective. So that means nothing will work. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come in that bitch with a stack of money and I'm gonna start paying people to do it. So the family turns into fucking employees. That's what I'm gonna start doing. Hey, got $100.
You know what? You still have to effectively communicate so they understand what they got to do for the pay.
You shit me. I don't care what you.
Some of them throw money on the bed and walk out the room.
I'm just gonna think free money.
So watch this. When I pick it up and I take it away from your ass, you gonna learn why you took it. Because you ain't fucking
never communicated what it was there for.
You assume. I said I walked in. I never said anything else. Once again, an assumption. You assumed that I was going to do the wrong thing. You walked
in and you never said anything else. You just threw money on the fucking bed.
I didn't say that. I said I'm gonna walk in with the money. I'm gonna walk in with the money.
And then what?
You assume. So wait, are y'all calling me a bad person? How about fuck both y'all? How about that?
This, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why you must learn to communicate effectively.
Fuck, I'm just going to assume that I don't want to do it. No, my whole point for this is, again, this is good. Cooperate. It goes back to the first word, cooperation.
One of the biggest things we don't do when we think we're effectively communicating, that is the most critical part of the communication process, is the paraphrase. Rarely do we take the time to paraphrase what the person says. We tell them, no, I get what you're saying. But then we don't paraphrase it in our own words to affirm and validate to that person that we understood what they said.
We can affirm and we can validate and all those things are great. If that person is adamant on not hearing you, it don't matter what you say.
Did this nigga kill his own argument? I feel like he killed his own argument just now.
Oh.
Because he was trying to say
one of the 4 danger signs is withdrawal.
Which is what I was saying. That was like, hey, it don't work that way. But hey, I'll take it. Salute.
A lot of times, under the guise of keeping the peace, we withdraw. And we need to.
Ain't no a lot of times. That's all of the time we withdraw.
That's where we make the mistake at. Because I've always said this, and I mean it. If you keep it bottled in, all you're doing, it's no different than cancer. If you don't go through the chemo, you're never going to heal yourself.
Oh, no. It ain't about necessarily. I don't think I think the older man bottled it in. I think this new era of guy, I think he says it, but I think he says it to a point Well, now whether that's effective or whatever, he's saying it, and then he's gonna stop it. He's gonna shut it down. He's going to shut it down for sure because he's going to get tired of saying the same things over and over and over again.
But again, it comes down to the perception. Again, if you took this very live stream right here out of context where you don't know us as individual people, one person's passion is another person's cutting another person off.
For sure. No question.
So that would come across as, are we truly effective communicating? But then in the one person stopping to listen can come across as, oh, you just letting them tell you anything. Versus like, no, I'm sitting here listening. A lot of times it goes back and forth. And that's the power of the paraphrasing, to make sure you understand what the other person is truly saying. Without paraphrasing, you're never going to fully know that you fully understand what a person is saying. That's where it's coming from. So what I'm hearing you say is, insert thing here. That helps a person feel heard or seen. Even when you and me were talking, there were times where we would disagree. I would say, so let me make sure I'm hearing you right, Mike. What you're saying is such and such. And you would be like, yeah, it would bring it down because you felt like I heard what you said, which I did. That's the power of the paraphrase that we really forget, because most likely what we normally do is be like, no, man, I get what you're saying. And we leave it at that. But how do I truly know what I'm saying?
But I also think through these conversations, I think it's also learning the person and learning the personality to understand it. Like watch this. Having this conversation, no matter how high or low I got or Jay, whoever, I don't think there's no ego involved.
No.
And I've also told y'all, like, it's like, I don't mind being necessarily corrected or wrong if it's going to make me better at the end of it. That's all. And I think there's certain things that we can all pull and take from it. But it's the cooperation part. And we touched on that earlier. It's like you're cooperating even in conversation. No matter.
Absolutely.
And so that's, I think, the point that I'm not gonna say got taken out of context, but the point that I was trying to make from the beginning is just to normalize having the conversation, because I don't think we have them at all with our daughters.
The problem is the four main killers of a conversation get interjected so easily. Most times it's the main thing we have to do is assume positive intent, and we don't do that when we have conversations.
Okay.
And what ends up happening is four main things end up happening in a conversation. Either we escalate, which means one person's no longer listening anymore. We invalidate, which means we say, yeah, that's the way you feel, but we don't confirm that that person's truth is their reality. We negatively interpret because we don't hear it the way we want to hear it. We assume the worst in it, or we withdraw because we call it keeping the peace. You're right. That instantly is what kills the communication part in it. Those are killers of any and all communication.
1 second, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I have to interject real quick to talk about how his stomach is going to be. My God.
He going to have bubble guts on another level because he killed that plate. He killed that plate. I got mad respect for him. I'm so glad.
I'm scared for him. About 2 o'clock in the morning.
You know, but then again, he got that New Orleans cast iron guts.
Nah,
so they built him different down there. Them guts down there.
Not no more. Not no more.
He done gentrified his gut. How you gentrify your gut, Jay?
Man, you get older. That shit changed.
Well, let me tell you something. And I'm not gonna disagree with nothing he's saying. Because one night I was hungry, didn't want to cook. I was like, man, fuck it, I'm hungry. Man, you know what? Yeah, I want some Taco Bell. Man, let me go get this.
Whoa.
The chicken, chalupa, whatever the hell it was. I ain't even want the beef. Let me get some chicken and some steak or something.
The healthier of the two. I get it.
Look,
not at all.
I'm gonna describe it to you. I'm gonna effectively communicate how his stomach was. look.
Come on, let's effectively communicate this.
We've all seen the beginning of Fat Albert, right? Hi, come on. Hey. That was his stomach.
So what I'm hearing you say is the Taco Bell did not agree with him
at all.
You see how we effectively communicate? The paraphrase does one.
Taco Bell from my diet.
Hey.
I'm talking about, I had to be like 6 p.m. So from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. Well, no, I can't say 6 p.m. From 7 p.m. to 3 a.m.
It was just hitting you.
Right. So look, check this out. We have a video. We always got one, and I put it in there.
They say you need some Tums at 2 a.m.
So these guys are having an interesting conversation, and I wanted to see if y'all agree or disagree with what they say.
Okay, you talking about this little video? Oh, the video that we have up. This gentleman here.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, let's see what he has to say. Oh,
he
just
full
for
of-
my people
full of-
that are on Instagram, we just want to let y'all know we are here for about another 15 minutes or so. You know, if you want to continue the conversation, we're on YouTube right now, live. But you got about 15 more minutes before we end up having to be on YouTube exclusively.
Check out. Yeah.
All right, so check this video out.
If you're getting seen as hubby material, boyfriend material, you get nothing.
Yeah.
Once she loves you, you get nothing.
Yeah.
But the bare minimum. Of course, a lot of them gonna be like, I don't know who you dealing with.
I've given threesomes in the past to men that I've been with without a problem, and I had no feeling or emotion attached to it. But the current guy that I'm with now, in the beginning, like the first month, I used to talk my and tell him that. But now I would never, like, I don't even want him to look another way, you know. And this is the first guy that I've ever felt like that with.
Because and then what they say, yeah, because I don't love you like that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. But if you was like mine,
Yeah.
you was like my nigga, like I couldn't do this with my nigga. Like and their mind,
Come on now.
they rationalize like I don't love you, so I could just be wild with you.
Yeah.
But my guy, no, I don't want him to see me like that. So I
Facts.
can't. And then I look at it like, damn, that nigga's getting the short end of the
You get the
stick.
shit. That's why a lot of niggas get fooled, because just like you said, the boyfriend potential, so she puts on the act, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then these niggas be feeling like, oh yeah, she made people wait. No, she made you wait.
Yeah,
boy.
she made you wait. She made you wait.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. I made this take a whole interesting turn, and I knew it.
No, because I can pull a sunflower out and y'all ain't gonna like it.
Go, y'all. Listen.
For me, this video directly balances the equation. Right there that we talk about, because we know personally of guys, so long as they're not committed, they can do whatever they want. But their girl will even run and regulate what they wear, what they walk, what they talk, who they talk to, who their friends are. And she's just doing the exact same thing. Like it's no different than what the hell we do.
No. Totally different. Totally different.
How? Because I have a penis?
No,
I'm just asking, like, real talk. Like, how is it different? I legit need to know this, because it seems like it's exactly the same to me.
Ooh. Don't, like, he's not commit. He's letting you know he's not committing to you.
And let's say she did the same thing, because she said it. When she has no feelings, she's not committed. She voiced the same thing.
She said when she has no feelings, I guarantee you she doesn't communicate that she has no feelings, because she's still trying to get something from him. Only thing a dude that ain't tied down to you trying to get us some gas.
And all she may be trying to get is, hey.
Might be, but you see, it's the way they go about it, right? They gotta go about it in this finesse ass way.
And this is interesting considering where I'm actively at and what I've actively been doing. But there's some that I'm not saying that everybody. I've had some that have tried to finesse, but I've had some that's just flat out been blunt. I respect the bluntness.
Yeah, of course we do. But you see, with her, when she was doing, hold on.
You said you respect the bluntness.
Yeah, because you didn't take my choice. I had two choices at that point: respect it or reject it.
The bluntness. The bluntness might be the anomaly.
Over there. What's the matter, Jay? You getting too animated?
Hell no. Look, let me tell you something. When the chick sitting up there, that's like the thing that happened with my boy in the club. The girl wanted him. She wanted a relationship with him. Exchange numbers and all this and all that there. But she left the club and went boinked another cat. What's the purpose of that? How you gonna get a relationship with me when you didn't give me nothing? You gave it away over here. You saw your Royal Oaks, but you wanted to be with me, but you want me to perceive you as something that you're really not.
And you gotta understand. Men are very ego driven. So when he find that out, his ego is like, so you gon', but you ain't gon', because that man ain't gonna hear that logic. Because if she look him dead in his eyes and say, well, I wanted to be with you. I just wanted to spend the night with him. Ego gone.
I don't care if you want to be with him.
Now that I do agree.
He'll never see you the same.
But again, that goes, and I hate to say it again, but that's effective. That's bad communication all the way around right there.
It is. Don't give me less.
She can't communicate that at all.
No true expectations were communicated in that at all.
But she can't communicate that at all. I don't give a damn how she.
You can't give the 5 guys before me threesomes, and then you come to me.
Because watch this.
Now that goes back to the math has the math. You can't. If anything, I should be. If you're giving away 3, I should have 5.
But Irvin, if she walk up to him and say, look, I want to be honest. I'm going to give him some cat tonight. I want you to be my boyfriend later on.
No,
so
I'm good.
Pick this up. Ain't no way to effectively communicate that shit.
But here's the thing. I still respect her at the 8. That's your choice. Do what you want to do.
Respect about that. That's ego.
But that goes back to what you want. You either want to, but you got again. That's where they don't have the expectation with themselves. You either want to be in a relationship or you don't. You can't be both. I know me. Where I'm at right now, I'm not looking to be in a committed relationship. So I communicate that right out the gate. If you communicate that out the gate, that's what to me makes a difference.
Part of what we learned about 2 years ago about this subjective thing, it's always to leave something open just in case I want to do something different later on. So you'll never get that. You'll never get that until the commitment happens. You'll never get that.
I just want you to make that shit make sense. You're gonna give threesomes to the randoms.
Oh, now that part I don't agree with. That part I don't agree with. The part I agreed with was the fact that she had the option to smash because she didn't have feelings. Because we smash if we don't have feelings. We smash if we have feelings. Like we've played that game before. So that's a mathing thing. Now I don't understand the logic of, to me, the person that if you're trying to be committed with, then that person definitely should have a different level or a different security clearance than other people.
But so I'm from the scenario that she painted. Let's say what Jay was talking about. Let's say they're in the club that night, and she wanted one to be the boyfriend, and she wanted the other one to just smash. She can't smash him that night. She can't do it. If she gonna do it, she better do it on a random day because we ain't committed, and she better take it to the grave. Don't tell me nothing. She can't do it that night because if we supposed to be chit chatting and chopping it, if we ain't together, and I call you and it ain't nothing,
you can't do both.
Exactly. So you can't do it in that night because according to their life, they're gonna say, "Well, I ain't committed to nothing until I'm in it. I'm not committed to the relationship until it's actually been done." So she can't do it in that night. He can't know that. She can't ever tell him, "Well, yeah, you know the night that we met, the dude that was over in the corner with the goddamn Hennessy bottles and the Reposados. Yeah, I took him home that night, but I wanted to be with you." She can't tell him that shit 6 months later. She can't tell him that shit 16 months later. 16 years. She cannot tell him that ever. So ain't nothing about no effective communication. It ain't gonna work in that scenario. Never.
Don't want to hear that shit.
I
don't
understand where you come from on that. What you're basically saying.
See, I don't have feelings. So I'm gonna be with this dude, let him smash, and tell him bring another girl. I'm gonna be my uninhibited self with these random ass fucking people. But with you,
okay, Jay,
But we
Jay,
have
Jay,
those
Jay,
scenarios too, Jay. Let's be real here. Let's not sit here and pretend that there are girls that we will do some things that will make it difficult to make eye contact with the next
That's what
day.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say
But
that.
we will not do
Yeah.
that with the person that we are laying next to every night when it should be the exact opposite. Because that's the person you're supposed to be safe to do it with.
I was going to say
Scenario, please.
Again, pick something. Again, let's pick the
okay,
threesome.
okay,
Okay,
so-
give me one, Mike.
So let's say a scenario where that girl you don't care nothing about, you gonna tell her all type of shit. You gonna do. I'm about to put your forehead.
Let's say the talk. Let's say the dirty talk gets turned to the nth degree, or let's say you decide to do a little consent, non-consent. Where you taking it a little, there's a little taking while giving it and stuff like that. There's things like the way you smack on behind anything, whatever scenario you want to. The things that there's things you will do with people that you don't have any type of emotional connection with that you won't do with the person you look at every day.
Look. I'm gonna say this. There's a caveat to that. You won't do that maybe initially because you like that person, but later on. What Jay's saying later on,
you may dip a toe in it, but I'm talking. But that's what we're talking about.
No.
Why
Later
out the
on,
gate you don't come out, but why you
yeah.
don't come out the gate both ways?
Well, hold on. See this. I got to stop you there. You see, let me turn to y'all.
Jay,
so y'all understand me.
Oh Lord.
Jay, PG version.
PG my ass.
Okay.
In order, because the way men have to go at women is different than the way women have, go at men. I have to impress you, right? Women want a man that can handle himself in the bedroom. So immediately upon day one of me being allowed to swim in your ocean,
Look,
I got to be Michael fucking Phelps.
No. I get what you say. I know. I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I know what you mean.
From day one, look, I got to constantly improve. From there.
No, I get, but there's a very, 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 very thin line because I know what you mean. I can't go there, but I know.
What you mean? There's a thin line. Talk reckless as fuck.
Yeah, you talk reckless. The talk
I
could be
can
reckless.
turn you into a bowling ball.
Man. No, I get it. I do. Trust me, I do. Because
Now paraphrase to prove that though.
Look. So one of the questions as people who used to dance and move and gyrate how we used to, there was a question that was often asked to us, and we had to prove that.
That's why, even with the person you with now, the person that you are with every goddamn day, man, I can't go in there and give you some fucking lazy toaster strudel. I got to be in that doing the call out.
Is you coming off the dresser?
Yeah, do all this. The only difference, see, this is the difference between men and women.
Using that dancing analogy, you've danced for all them strangers, but have you danced for your girl?
Oh, the question that was asked was, can you smash like you dance? That was always asked.
Yeah.
Always asked.
What I'm saying is, for a man, the only reason a man would not be how he would be is because you got kids and people in your fucking house and all this shit here. But let us have a date night and or we go get a room somewhere.
No, that's true.
Oh,
that's
boy,
true.
we get a room somewhere and you ain't got to hold it in. Oh, bitch,
That's true. Because at home, I can't get on the dresser with Superman.
Yeah, we can't do all that shit in the house.
Dive off.
Why not? It's your house.
No, not with them kids.
With all them kids in that motherfucker.
Because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Everything gonna be going good. Everything gonna be rolling. The minute you get on that dresser, no, knock. What the fuck? Knock.
Nah, ain't no knock. Them motherfucker bossing.
People have been in the shop. Go.
busting in the fucking door while you is in mid-stroke.
Why? All right.
Busting in the door while you in mid-stroke. Ain't no knocking.
What's gonna happen is, look, you're gonna be on the dresser, right? You're gonna put the cape on. As soon as you do this, and the minute your feet leave the dresser, your child gonna walk in, just gonna be winky flying. Mom,
that's the only. So you telling me you done some wild and exotic shit with a random, but the chick that you actually with, you not giving her that long and strong? You withholding?
No. We're not saying a lot. I'm talking about the weird stuff. You're more inclined to do the weird stuff with the stranger, whatever you define as weird.
That's why I said there's a thin line.
Yeah.
Because what the thin line is, I think initially with somebody you like, you may be a little bit more reserved, but as we go further in, a little bit.
I'm like this here. It's never on me. It's on you. Whatever shit you asking for, you about to fucking get.
True. But I get it. No, I get it. That's why I said it's a thin line. It's a thin line. I get what I understand what Irv was saying, but I also know what Jay's saying.
Okay, I understand what Irv was saying. Like for instance, if you the type of dude that when you with a random motherfucker, you got a fucking a fucking blow dart in a fucking diaper or some shit on, and you not gonna do that type of shit with the motherfucker you really trying to be with. But
Now, here's where I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. First and foremost, Jay, outstanding paraphrasing, though you went extreme with it. You definitely effectively communicated you got what I was saying. But my God, you could have found a better scenario to use.
No. He effectively communicated. We leave it right there.
Here's the thing. It was effective because I felt like he got what I was saying.
No, you know why? Because for a second you had a mental picture. That shit trash.
That was some amazing communication right there.
You coming in, bitch, just like an African with your wallpaper. Get on the bed, goddammit. Okay.
Amazing communication.
I'm just saying, I don't, man. It's a big ass different thing where a woman will give herself into her inhibitions and shit with the random shits, but the person who you supposed to be like that with, the person who it would strengthen your fucking bond with, oh, they can't have that. You make that shit make sense to me.
Oh, it doesn't. I'm not saying it does. That's the one part we all universally agree on. It doesn't.
I feel like this. I feel like
that's
this.
Very counterintuitive.
No, you're right. I also feel like this. I feel like when it comes to that point, sometimes you have to do scenarios because you got to think about. Let's think about the scenario of that person. Y'all ain't seen each other all day. Talking about the person that you don't live with. Y'all ain't seen each other all day, and then y'all hate each other up. What you doing? I ain't doing nothing. What you doing? You want to come over? I'm gonna come over, and then y'all. It's like there's a spontaneous thing about that.
Anticipation, if you
right.
will.
So I think a lot of times we're doing that in the same setting in our house with the bed. I think sometimes what may help that is giving scenarios. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe you'll go get the room and she don't know and you call, hey, text her the address, meet me over here. You know what I'm saying? But you have everything else. I mean, of course you gotta figure out what you're gonna do with the kids and all that. But you that's something you have to take care of. Because if she have to think about that in that moment, all sexiness is gone. That shit dead. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something that could help, you know, maybe changing the scenery, the scenario, but being I don't want to say, I mean, it's spontaneous. It is, but just random. Hey, meet me at this hotel, da-da-da. And maybe that may get her juices flowing and maybe y'all can get it popping because ain't no kids, ain't nobody. You can jump off the dresser at your leisure because you didn't pay for it. For that night, I guess. I don't know, man. It's a very thin line, though. It's a very thin line. Because like I said, I see what Irwin's saying.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't headbutt the bitch you like, but the one you do.
And see me, I'm just the opposite. I'm a headbutt the one I like because I need to know you can handle your own.
It's like what?
If
Why?
you can headbutt me, you can headbutt anybody.
you like that move I did in the ring?
Boom.
Like we don't. And then if women sit up here and say all day, yeah, y'all want to do is go to the strip club and look at this and that, da da da. No, we going for this fucking dream, for this fantasy that they selling. They selling a fantasy. We paying for the fantasy. You out there having fantasies with other motherfuckers, but you won't give it to me. I got to go pay for some shit over here, but you giving it to somebody else.
And I think that's the part where we universally agree that math don't math. And I think that's where, for me, that's where I'm able to stand on what I stand on. What I do the same across the board. That way, it's no separate or anything like that. You can't sit there and play favorites. That math makes no sense. And again, it goes back to security clearance. You can't give level 5 security clearance to everybody, and I'm not looking for a level 10. Now, if everybody's got level 5, then I'm gonna take my level 5 and keep it pushing. But if there's a level 6, I would expect the level 6 at that point. I don't know what level 6 look like, but at the end of the day, what you really want is there has to be some level of exclusivity. It may not be exclusivity as in you and me, but there must be some level of exclusivity in order to show that connection is a unique and or different or greater connection. The only way we judge how much more we give in a relationship is by how exclusive we are in something.
Level 6 sounds like it include a Michael Myers mask, a honey pack, some jasmine rice, some reposado, and some candle wax. But I could be wrong.
With ocean whales playing in the background.
What's going on?
Look, all I hear is babies. That's all I hear. Babies.
Nah, not for me. I promise you, I got that figured out.
Anomaly. You're an anomaly. For the rest of us, babies.
Babies.
Let's do this. I think we had a good conversation. It's good to have these good impromptu conversations. We didn't really know where we was going.
Shout out to those of us who followed us over on YouTube. We appreciate you.
So let's go with final thought. Jay.
Yeah.
What's your final takeaway?
My final thought, my final segue, my final look. This is the narrative. We have to do our parts, meaning men got to do what they got to do, and women have to do what they got to do. No, I'm not doing everything I got to do and your shit too. You shouldn't have to do all you got to do in my shit too. It's just not going to work. It's never going to work. To effectively communicate means, everyone say it. I say it, you receive it, you paraphrase it so that I know that you fully understand what I'm talking about, then you go do that shit. Same thing on the other end. You say it, I paraphrase it, go do that shit.
That's it.
That's it. That's how you change this motherfucking narrative. Not by one person just taking on every fucking thing. You can't do that. We already have a short lifespan, and you're not about to fucking kill me. That's murder.
Irwin?
I would say again, at the end of the day, the only thing you can change is yourself. You have to be the change. You can't want the change. It's not going to change by just throwing it out there. You have to start demonstrating it and modeling it. Even if you're with someone who doesn't know how to effectively communicate, you can effectively listen by using those same techniques. When you paraphrase it back, paraphrase it using the right way to paraphrase it. Even if they didn't say it right to you, you say it right back to them. at the end of the day, and then make sure that you know that. But again, it won't work unless both people assume positive intent. No communication will ever work unless you assume positive intent. This is why you never got mad when your coach yanked you by your helmet. You assumed positive intent. You assumed he was trying to make you a better player.
Yeah, and
You
that's
have to do that same thing.
you have respect for
You
that
have
person.
respect. You assume that he was looking out for you. Same thing here. You have to assume it. And if you don't, the onus is on you to communicate. You have a void in the understanding. If you don't understand something, the onus is on you to ask for clarity.
Dope. I think for me, I think we have our own way that we go about doing things. And I feel like the only way that we can get these things moving and start trending in the right direction is to, if you're in a partnership, even if you don't agree with everything, just stay the course. You may not agree with, your coaches I don't think you should go with this player. But what are you going to do? You're going to disrupt everything? Maybe you make a suggestion, but if they're not going with what you're going with, if the team is going this direction, go with the team. Let's stay within the team structure and stop just being uncooperative just to be.
At a minimum, until you got a better way. Don't just fight just until you know there's a better way. At a minimum, just go with the team.
For sure. I think, because when you talk about like when you talk about the coach analogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we know that there's something that we can lose. We lose being kicked off the team. We lose, not being favorable with our teammates. We lose if I'm the wide receiver and I'm always going at the quarterback that he don't, throw the football my way. I just don't think we don't. It's like we call each other bluff all the time.
I agree with that.
We call each other bluff all the time and just figure, well, you have nothing to lose. And then if that person is really ready to be out, then you want to manipulate. Say, I did all I could. No, you didn't. You weren't cooperative from the jump. So I just think I'm gonna keep using that word till I can't use it no more, because I think cooperation is the biggest key to all these things that we talk about, even with effective communication, and even with just communicating in general. If you know what that person means, and you know that person has your back, like, stop just being uncooperative just to be. And I think it's too many times where we go through that and we deal with it. So that's my final takeaway, my key takeaway. I think it's another dope conversation of us trying to change the narrative, man. And just, for those of y'all who tune in and rock with us, we appreciate y'all as always. We gonna keep doing our best to try to deliver dope content. Want to have a discussion? Come have a discussion. Last week we had somebody come up, and man, it was dope to have just a different voice, a different thought process, just a different feeling of what we do up here. So y'all know that. So tap in, man.
Shout out to Reggie.
For sure. Reggie the plug. But shout out to everybody. I think it's safe to say that we can go ahead on and throw these fingers up and get up out of here, man. This has been a Narrative Project podcast. I'm your boy Mike. That is
Jada Icon.
And that is
Erwin the Ford.
Shout out to y'all, man. We out. 100.